Hey everyone, this is me Natasha and I'm back with the last part of Important International Conventions on Environment and Biodiversity. So before continuing this video, please watch part 1 and 2 in which I've covered 20 conventions. And sorry guys for posting this video quite late. Actually, lately I checked my SET economics exam result for the post of assistant professor and I'm so delighted to say that I've cleared it in my first attempt. Let's see now what happens next. Anyways, let's start our learning. The 21st is CBIT Fund, that is Capacity Building Initiative for Transparency Fund. So it's an outcome of UNFCCC's Paris Agreement in 2015. Its objective is to help developing countries monitor and report the progress on their climate actions. This fund will be set up by the GEF, that is Global Environment Facility, with financial support from the developed nations like US, UK and Canada. So its significance is basically that many developing countries lack the necessary capacity to monitor and report their progress, right? So this fund helps developed countries to take on board the developing countries in developing their domestic capacities, leading to transparent mechanisms in reporting the progress on their climate actions. Okay, so the 22nd is Convention on Biological Diversity, which is also known as Biodiversity Convention. It's a multilateral treaty which was open for signature on 5 June 1992 in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. It was entered into force in 1993. It is legally binding, but it doesn't take the place of national laws. The three main goals of this convention are conservation of biological diversity, sustainable use of its components, and fair and equitable sharing of benefits arising from genetic resources. And India is a party to the convention. USA has signed but not ratified. The 23rd is Cartagena Protocol on Biosafety, which is also known as Biosafety Protocol. It was adopted in 2000 and it came into force in 2003. So this protocol seeks to protect biological diversity from the potential risks posed by living modified organisms resulting from modern biotechnology. Genetically modified organisms can also be regulated under this protocol, right? The next one is Nagoya Protocol, which was adopted in COP10 in 2010 in Japan. It's a supplementary agreement to the Convention on Biological Diversity as it deals with access to genetic resources and the fair and equitable sharing of benefits arising from their utilization to the Convention on Biological Diversity. So this strategic plan consists of 20 new biodiversity targets for 2020 which are termed as the Aichi Biodiversity Targets, right? Next one is Rotterdam Convention, which was formerly called Rotterdam Convention on the Prior Informed Consent Procedure for certain hazardous chemicals and pesticides in international trade. It's a United Nations treaty which was open for signature in 1998 and became effective in 2004. So its aim is to promote shared responsibilities in relation to importation of hazardous chemicals. Moving to the next one, that is called Stockholm Convention. It's a convention on persistent organic pollutants or POPs. It's an international environmental United Nations treaty which was open for signature in 2001 in Stockholm and it became effective in 2004. So it aims to eliminate or restrict the production and use of persistent organic pollutants. India is a party to this treaty. US is not a party, right? So why we should regulate POPs? Because POPs are chemical substances that persist in the environment, they bioaccumulate through the food web, and they pose a risk of causing adverse effects to human health and the environment. Alright, so the next one is RED, that is reducing emissions from deforestation and forest degradation. Basically, it's a mechanism which is under negotiation under UNFCCC since 2005. Its objective is to mitigate climate change through reducing net emissions of greenhouse gases through enhanced forest management in developing countries. We also have REDD+, which was defined in Bali Action Plan in 2007 in Conference of Parties 13. So what constitutes plus in REDD? It constitutes sustainable management of forests, conservation of forest carbon stocks, and enhancement of forest carbon stocks. So what is the difference between REDD and REDD+? REDD is reducing emissions from deforestation in developing countries, alright? And REDD Plus is reducing emissions from deforestation and forest degradation in developing countries and the role of conservation, sustainable management of forests and enhancement of forest carbon stocks in developing countries. Clear? The next one is MINAMATA Convention on Mercury. It's an international United Nations treaty which was signed in 2013 and it aims to protect human health and the environment from anthropogenic emissions and releases of mercury and mercury compounds. So this convention is named after Japanese city Minamata, and this name is of symbolic importance as the city went through devastating incident of mercury poisoning. It is expected that over the next few decades, this international agreement will enhance the reduction of mercury pollution from the targeted activities responsible for the major release of mercury to the immediate environment. However, it hasn't come into force yet. The next one is UNESCO World Heritage Sites. So UNESCO World Heritage Site is a place that is listed by United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization as of special cultural or physical significance. So this list is maintained by International World Heritage Program, and this program is administered by the UNESCO World Heritage Committee, which is composed of 21 UNESCO member states which are elected by the General Assembly. And there are a total of 1092 UNESCO World Heritage Sites in the world. Italy is home to the largest number of World Heritage Sites. Alright, so the 30th one is International Whaling Commission. It's an international body set up by the terms of the International Convention for the Regulation of Whaling, which was signed in Washington in 1946. It aims to provide the proper conservation of whale stocks and thus makes possible the orderly development of the whaling industry. So what it does? It designates specified areas as whale sanctuaries. It set limits on the numbers and size of whales which may be taken. It prescribes open and closed seasons and areas for whaling, and it prohibits the capture of suckling calves and female whales accompanied by calves. Okay, so the 31st is International Solar Alliance. This one is important as it was launched at the 2015 Paris Climate Change Summit by Prime Minister Narendra Modi and former French President Francois Hollande. It seeks to empower solar-rich countries located between Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn to make collaborative efforts to harness solar energy to generate the electricity. Its objectives are to force down prices by driving demand, to bring standardization in solar technologies, and to foster research and development. The 32nd is International Union for Conservation of Nature, that is IUCN. Its full legal name is International Union for Conservation of Nature and Natural Resources. It was founded in 1948 in Fontainebleau, France. Its headquarters are in Gland, Switzerland, and it is involved in data gathering and analysis, research, field projects, advocacy, lobbying, and education. So it publishes IUCN Red List, which assesses the conservation status of species worldwide. IUCN has observer and consultative status at the United Nations. We have to remember that both governments and NGOs are its members, right? Okay, so the 33rd is South Asia Wildlife Enforcement Network, that is SAWAN. It's a regional intergovernmental wildlife law enforcement support body launched in January 2011 in Paro, Bhutan. So it aims at working collectively to combat wildlife crimes. And its regional network comprises of 8 South Asia countries: Afghanistan, India, Pakistan, Nepal, Bhutan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, and Maldives. Alright guys, so the last one is Benzene Convention. It was created by the International Labour Organization. Its objective is to protect workers who are exposed during the course of their work to benzene, a recognized carcinogen. It was adopted in 1971 and entered into force in 1973. Alright, thank you guys. So, all the important international conventions on environment and biodiversity have been covered by me. Now, we'll meet in the next video where we'll learn a different topic related to environment and ecology. I would like to conclude this video with an axiom, that is, learning is not attained by chance. It must be sought for with ardor and attended to with diligence. By Abigail Adams. So do like, subscribe, and share, guys. And once again, thank you, everyone.